Hey guys, Darkman here, and welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Chapter 7 review. Wait, cut the title, please. Wait, is this just Chapter 6? So it was Chapter 5 last time. Isn't this Chapter 7? This is Chapter 6 for... Yeah, I'm going to stick with 7, that's what my innards tell me that it is. So it kind of starts off. So it starts off with Jaco and Bulma going to meet Zuno, this guy, and the planet's name is Zuno's home planet. Creativity is a lot, just like Chapter 5, or Chapter 4, I guess, according to this. And that's when we are introduced to Zuno. He's big. Think of a little Asian baby, not to sound racist, just a little Asian baby. Make it constantly sneering at you. Shave all its hair off except for right here and two little tufts right here. Give it humongous ears and give it about 1,002 pounds. And then that's what you basically get. Plus you have two little assistants. So yeah. And so they basically are here to ask the question about the Dragon Balls. And it turns out that a present is required, which the present is a kiss. So, just to kind of show that Zuno knows everything, Jaco asks him if he knows what Bulma's breast size is, which he responds with a 83.4 centimeters, but they used to be 87.2 centimeters, but they started to sag a bit. Which he responds by slapping Jaco firmly in the head. Which he kind of likes before that says, well, is he wrong? It's right, is it not? Which, I mean, it's not wrong. And so, now it's Bulma's turn, and she has to ask the question. But because Jaco's a guy, when he gave Zeno a smooch, which, I don't know if Zeno's a guy or a girl, it seems like a weird guy, he only got one question. So when Bulma does it, she gets 3. Which she wastes asking, am I really only worth... Well, she wastes her first one asking, am I really only worth 3 when he was worth 1? And he was just like, yeah, you're not my type. And so that's a wasted wish. And then she asks about the Super Dragon Balls. Which, the gist of this mainly says that they're huge Dragon Balls that are kind of split between universes 6 and 7. Almost said 7 and 12. I mean, 6 and 12 is what I was originally planning on saying. But I didn't. And that's basically, that's from what I remember, that's basically the gist of this, huge speech here. And so she wastes her... Hang on. Yeah, she basically wastes her last question saying, so they're split between us? And he responds like, yeah, now you're allowed of not wishes, questions. So then they start heading back to Earth, and then we cut to Vegeta and Goku training in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, which at first when I was doing this was like, wasn't that destroyed in the Gotenks and Buu fight? But then they say it's newly restored and whatever, so now they have 3 days, which before didn't they have originally 2? But hey, let's not nitpick here. I mean, it's just 1 extra day, which is 3 years to them, which begs the question, why didn't they bring in Piccolo and Buu and... I mean, either one of these guys in their base forms could probably handle both of them at the same time. So I mean, those 2 probably need all the training that they can get, but why not power up the 2 guys who are already the strongest other than the gods? So yeah. Goku basically asks Vegeta if he thinks that the guys in the other universe will be strong. And Vegeta says, of course they will, dumb, eh? They saw us training as Super Saiyan God Blues. If he wasn't sure of it, he wouldn't have proposed it. So they have to be super strong. Which Goku responds with that, well yeah, that makes sense. You're pretty smart, Vegeta. And he's like, compared to you, I'm a freaking genius. And so Goku basically just kind of pisses him off by being kind of dumb, and Vegeta tells him to act his age. And Goku responds with, well, when we're 80, we're basically still very young. And Vegeta replies with, it's basically your mentality that you need to have. So he turns Super Saiyan Blue. Goku can turn Super Saiyan Blue. And actually do something kind of cool here. He says, well, it's just like old times. And if you remember from their first fight, both the poses that they get into, that's basically what they do here, but now they're gods. Shows you how far they've come. And then they go at each other and they collide and it looks super cool because the art for this is amazing. And so yeah, then it skips forward in time. So they're actually boarding the ship to go to the, homeless, nameless planet, whatever it's called. Which, I mean, it didn't show Buu and Piccolo training any, so are they really going to be ready for this? Yeah, I mean, at this point, Gohan's still somewhat stronger than Piccolo, considering the fact that in Resurrection F, Piccolo's struggling against a guy, and then Gohan one-shotted him, which doesn't make a lick of sense, considering that Piccolo non-stop trains, while Gohan does everything but train. So yeah. And basically shows that everyone's here, including Pilaf and the gang. And Goku's just kind of talking to people. And he's like, Videl, where's Gohan? Turns out Gohan's not coming. He's going to some type of academic conference. Which Goku replies with, that little shit, and I probably know what I was going to say before that. Before Vegeta then interrupts like, hey, Goku, who's that friend of yours? Which we get the picture of that thing. I have no words to truly describe the freak that is, other than it is Makuta-san. He's the strongest warrior that Beerus fought. And Vegeta's basically like, that's basically the embodiment of looks can be deceiving, because, I mean, if you see this guy, he's incredibly underwhelming. He does not look like a threat. But then, it turns out that when they bare their fangs, when these things, get... So they start off very docile, okay? But then when they get their fangs, they're strong enough that even Beerus would have a problem fighting them, which basically means that there's a race out there that can beat the Super Saiyan gods. So Goku comes over and introduces himself and asks, what does Punta mean? And it means nipples. Just big old nipples. Just imagine nipple points up to here-ish, like that far off the body. And Beerus is just kind of like, you really didn't need that information. But then it also turns out that King Ginja is there, who's apparently Jocko's boss or something. I have no idea. I didn't read that series. He's like, do they not notice how different I am? But it's just him kind of whining, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. So they basically just start playing games until they get there. And when they get there, they're all as shocked as most people were when they see the I'm going to say moon-sized Dragon Balls, because those are not the size planets. They're moon-sized. And so when they get there, they see Supreme Kai and Kibito are now two different people now, instead of how they used to be one. Which they wasted the power of the Dragon Balls on. And as he's kind of explaining that, it's kind of weird to be two people again. Goku notices these two freaking weird-looking guys behind him and asks if they're the Supreme Kais, basically the Kaioshins of... I'm just going to say Supreme Kais because it's what I know of their universe. And these guys are kind of socially awkward because they respond with a... I guess so. Maybe. I couldn't tell you for the life of me, man. And so they start walking up the stairs, and they're all shocked when they see, the team that they're going to have to fight against. And, to be fully honest, the designs of the team that they're going up against looks pretty freaking cool, except for one of them. He looks like a panda. Pika Bear. Panda Pika Bear. That's what he's going to be called. But then the rest of them look pretty cool, and Goku kind of says, some of those guys up there look a little familiar. Which I'm going to point out the three, to me, that look most familiar. One, there's obviously the Frieza-looking guy, who basically looks just like Frieza, just slightly different. But he also kind of looks way cooler. Whatever. And then there's the panda guy, Panda Pika Bear. And then there's the guy who looks like Piccolo, like, except for like the clothing and the fact that he's like a line of like kind of like little spike-looking things and like things on the side of his head and like different colored. It's like very small details that make him look different. And then the person next to him is supposedly a girl, is what I hear from everyone. But to me, if it is a girl, it looks like a teenage girl Vegeta, basically. Which basically means we're going to get the first female Super Saiyan, which, if it's supposed to contend with Goku and Vegeta, it will be able to at least turn Super Saiyan God. So that's pretty cool, to be honest. Or Super Saiyan 4? Then, no, Toriyama's not going that way. But honestly, like, yeah, the only one I have a problem with, like, kind of design-wise is Polar Pika Bear, Panda Pika Bear, is what I meant to say. But yeah, other than that, they all look pretty cool. And then there's also, like, the robot guy. Freaking just got, like, the thing on his head just, like, pumping out smoke. He looks pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, I cannot wait for the next chapter, to be fully honest. I'm kind of thinking, because, like, in the Battle of Gods arc for this manga, the fights are over and done pretty quick, but at the same time that could just be for the sake of getting to stuff that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, hopefully each fight's at least one chapter long. I wonder if this Frieza guy can transform. Hopefully they all have unique abilities other than just, hey, I can shoot a giant ball, or hey, I can shoot a giant beam. But yeah, other than that, this was a good chapter. I'm glad. See, this is the difference between the Ruby mangas and the Dragon Ball mangas. Something gets done. That's all I have to say. Something is accomplished.